Andy Deck got the chance to judge this year. How jealous were you?
Very jealous, and I've got to be honest, slightly annoyed, because I've been there from the start as well. I should be allowed to judge and act. No, do you know what? It's really interesting. When they did the judge, they couldn't say a bad comment, and they saw some rubbish acts, and they wouldn't say they were rubbish. So I think that was quite, in a weird way, quite nice, because I don't think you want to hear Antoinette having a go at someone. Do you know what I mean?
Very true. Now, you have been there from the start. We want to know, what's the most shocking audition that stands out in your mind?
The most shocking audition, I would say, is when we had a guy that came on, and his talent was to get inside a laundry bag, do the zip up, and then sing a song. That was quite mad. We also had the woman where she came onto the stage, and Amanda said, "Oh, I hear you're having a baby," because before the lady arrived on stage, Simon had whispered to Amanda, "The next contestant's pregnant. Make sure you ask about the baby." She wasn't pregnant, so that didn't go down too well. And they're the little things that Simon does to keep himself entertained with Amanda. So yeah, I would say they're
up there.
Up there, yeah.
If you had the chance to pick one act from this year's auditions as your Golden Buzzer act, who would that be?
There is a magician on this year that, and it's not just because I like magic, I promise, but I would say he's the best magician we've ever had on. And he came on stage and he looked very cool, and then literally just started doing magic with it. From my point of view, was just brilliant. So I think if I had to give a Golden Buzzer, it would go to him.
Now, Simon Cowell is a scary boss. I want us to talk through the scenario that would involve you getting fired. What would you have to do for him to fire you?
What would I have to do to get fired? That is the most bizarre question I've ever heard. What's the one thing you can do to get fired? Well, obviously call him something that he wouldn't like to be called. I don't think he would appreciate that. He doesn't like, swearing, so that would guarantee a fire.
Okay.
What would else be? Not to worship him. That would most probably get me fired.
So you do that already? Worship at the
yes,
altar of Simon Cowell?
I certainly do, and that's why I've been here 8 years.
Congrats.
That's the only reason, because it can't be for the presenting. So yeah, they're the two things.
Talking of presenting, you obviously host more talents. Why should we watch this year?
I tell you why you should watch Britain's Got More Talent this year, because when you switch over, unlike any other sister show, you will always see something brand new. So, for example, this year we've got David versus Doris, which is David Williams against an 80-year-old granny, and they do a challenge each week. And because David's so competitive, even though this woman's 80 years old, he doesn't hold back. So there's one good reason. Another good reason, Ant versus Deck. We play very nostalgic game shows, one a week. So we play things like Blankety Blank, we play Catchphrase, we play Going for Gold. All of these shows, and each week you'll see a different one, and they get very competitive. We have access to the judges like no other show. We have more of Simon. We find out about the build up to before he had baby Eric. So you're just going to see exactly what the title of the show is. A lot more of Britain's Got More Talent. Stuff that you'll never normally see on ITV1.